I've never been a fan of surprises, especially not the kind that show up in a luxury SUV with a clipboard and a smug smile. The first time I met Cynthia Blakemore, she stood right at the edge of where her HOA jurisdiction ended and my property began. Like the air itself was drawing battle lines. She had the vibe of a disgraced TV realtor, flawless hair, designer flats, and enough perfume to fumigate a barn. Later, I found out she used to work in real estate before she got tangled in a zoning scandal that sank a high-end housing project. Ever since, she'd been on a mission to preserve property values by terrorizing anyone whose house didn't match her suburban Cadillac fantasy. My place. A steel frame workshop I built with my own hands. 6,000 square feet of reinforced concrete. Custom HVAC. And tools worth more than her entire wine collection. I was a retired military engineer turned fabricator, and that garage was my sanctuary. But Cynthia hated it, said it didn't blend with the community aesthetic, which was laughable, since my land wasn't even in the HOA. She tried to argue that my garage cast a visual shadow on their gated serenity. I told her the only harmony I cared about was the sound of a plasma cutter at 2 a.m. She left, but not quietly. For weeks, she circled my property like a hawk with a vendetta. I started seeing Facebook posts about unsightly structures and possible hazards, but I didn't sweat it. I dealt with worse than an HOA queen drunk on expired authority. Then one night, around 2 a.m., I heard it, a metallic crack that didn't belong in the dead silence. I bolted outside barefoot, flashlight in one hand, 45 in the other. My garage door was destroyed, steel panels bent inward like tissue. And there, half lodged into the wall, was a white Lexus SUV. I recognized it instantly. Cynthia's. No driver. No witnesses. Just coolant dripping onto my concrete floor. I hit record on my phone, circled the wreckage, then called the sheriff. While I was writing up the incident report, I heard an engine roar. I ran out just in time to see the SUV dragging a fender disappear down the road. Cops showed up half an hour later. Officer Rodriguez took my statement. Looked skeptical until I showed him the video footage. He nodded. Said they'd follow up. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. Next morning, 2 deputies showed up with a summons. Cynthia had reported her car stolen and I was the prime suspect. Apparently, I'd broken into her garage, stolen her Lexus, and crashed it into my own building out of spite. The cherry on top? A neighbor claimed they saw me under the hood of her car that afternoon. You couldn't script this kind of lunacy. I lawyered up. My attorney, Claire, was a shark in a pantsuit. She reviewed the footage, the timestamps, the tire tracks, and said, "We're not just defending, we're going on offense." Meanwhile, I hired a private investigator. Earl. Earl was ex-state police. Looked like he ate nails for breakfast. Within 3 days, he came back with security footage from a liquor store down the road, clear as day. Cynthia stepping out of the driver's seat minutes after the crash. Another clip from a fast food lot showed her trying to quietly coordinate a tow. She canceled the call just before cops arrived. But the real gem? Earl got access to her call logs. Cynthia filed an insurance claim for the crash 6 hours before she reported the car stolen. Classic fraud. Claire filed the countersuit, false police report, defamation, destruction of private property, and insurance fraud. We added the HOA for good measure. Turns out Cynthia had convinced the board to start targeting me with bogus violations to force a sale. She even emailed them saying, "If we can't make him comply, we make his land worthless." Things escalated fast. I got hit with noise complaints, random inspections, even a surprise visit from the fire marshal. Then one night, my security system pinged. Two hooded figures, one with a gas can, the other with a crowbar, creeping around my garage. I triggered the alarm. One ran. The other stepped into a trap I'd set for coyotes. Kid couldn't have been older than 19. Said Cynthia told him it was a scare job. Said I was a threat to the community. When the cops pulled his phone, there it was, messages from Cynthia under a burner account, telling him when to strike. The case blew wide open. In court, Cynthia tried to play the victim, claimed I was a menace with illegal machinery and dangerous chemicals. But the jury didn't buy it. Claire shredded her on cross. When asked why she staged the crash and tried to burn my shop down, Cynthia shouted, "He mocked the HOA. He made us all look cheap." Yeah, that went well. I won. The jury awarded me $300, 000, and recommended a criminal referral. The judge ordered oversight of the entire HOA board. Cynthia hauled out of court mid-tantrum. I used the money to rebuild my garage bigger, better, smarter. I started a YouTube channel called Ironclad Garage, posting security tips, DIY builds, and HOA horror stories. One video, how to defend your land without losing your mind, went viral. Homeowners from across the country started writing in. And the best part? The new HOA leadership, yeah. They invited me to their community barbecue as guest of honor. Even Cynthia showed up briefly, stood on the sidelines, then slipped away without a word. So yeah, don't mess with a guy who knows how to weld, litigate, and trap coyotes. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever dealt with an out-of-control HOA or neighbor? Drop your story in the comments below. And let's keep the fight for freedom rolling.